The City of Ohio State podcast takes a deep dive into the support services that keep OSU's Columbus campus running 24/7. Hear from industry experts in facilities, construction, real estate, public safety, transportation, and more. The City of Ohio State podcast is brought to you by the Office of Administration and Planning. Go Bucks! Hello and welcome to the City of Ohio State podcast. I'm your host, Dan Hedman. Last month, we chatted with our chief of police about all things safety. For episode 6, we'll climb aboard the bus to discuss transportation trends and how OSU keeps 100,000 people moving each day. Our guest is Tom Holman, Associate Director of Transportation and Traffic Management. Tom, thanks for being with us.
It's great to be here, Dan. Thanks for inviting me.
Transportation on campus may seem simple to the daily rider, and that's a good thing, but behind the scenes, it's quite complex, from keeping buses running on time and providing paratransit service to adding on-demand and keeping a campus fleet up and running. Can you expand on this just a little bit and give me the 1,000-foot view of what the transportation office at Ohio State is responsible for?
Absolutely. So transportation has a team of about 220 people. About 130 of those are our shuttle and bus operators. The largest area, of course, is transportation, which provides the campus area bus service and cabs on demand. Paratransit, which is our adapted transportation service for people with various mobility needs. Our services down at the Wexner Medical Center include fixed route and on-demand for patients. And then, of course, our Lyft Ride Smart. In addition to those, our charter team provides service for athletic groups as well as student group travel, event shuttle. Our fleet management area manages the university's fleet of over 930 vehicles. And they have a team of mechanics that kind of keep everything up and running. Traffic management, they do our traffic studies on campus and coordinate things like traffic signal maintenance for all the intersections on campus. And then lastly, we have a relationship with micromobility providers as well as bicycle infrastructure on campus.
So a lot more than meets the eye, and living up to the name of this podcast, it really is like a city here at Ohio State. I think your team's probably most well known for the campus area bus services. Most people call them cabs. Each year, cabs provides more than 5 million free rides to students, faculty, and staff. How do you go about considering routes and pickup times? And what's new this year? What changed this fall?
And so cabs provides about 74,000 hours of fixed route service. And new this year, the Campus Connector route provides service between North and South Campus, as well as Central, Midwest, and West Campus, all on one route. And then the Buckeye Express is another new route this year, and that provides commuters transportation between the Buckeye lot and Central Campus. And those routes are in support of the next phase of Cannon Drive project, which will kick off this year. And then, of course, we still have the Medical Center Express, which serves staff for the medical center, and then our East Residential Service, which runs East of High. Also new this year, we expanded our overnight on-demand service, which began at 10 previously, but now begins at 9 p.m. So students that need to move around between individual buildings on campus can do so an hour earlier this year.
So when it comes to those daily routes, and back to this question of like, how do you determine where you're making stops? How do you determine where our students need to be and at what intervals? How do you go about doing that as a professional in the transit industry?
So our buses have a lot of technology on them. We installed, back in 2008, we installed a system called Clever Devices, and that has things like automatic passenger counters on each door, provides GPS locations. So we get things like data on travel time between stops, and then passengers boarding and alighting for each stop. And we analyze that data constantly. And we also have a relationship with the Campus Transit Lab, which is in the College of Engineering. And they also provide us some studies for origin destination. And we look at all these things, try to determine, on a large scale, where the major movements are on campus and try to match the service to that demand.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool when our departments in administration and planning, which are, support services, can pair or partner with students or faculty researchers and try to use the power of all the resources at OSU from the academic side to make service changes. So folks can stay informed of any routes or route changes by using the OSU app. Sticking with cabs, I know sustainability has been, continues to be a major focus for your team. To support the university's goals to reduce carbon emissions, buses have been transitioning to compressed natural gas. And back in 2017, Ohio State actually opened its own CNG fueling station. What's the impact on this transition, and what's next in terms of sustainable transportation?
Well, as you mentioned, we began with CNG buses. The first buses on campus were actually in 2015. And then, as you mentioned, we opened the station in 2017. CNG continues to make the most sense for the cabs fleet. Cabs last year consumed about 300,000 gasoline gallon equivalent, which is the unit of measure for CNG, as compared to 100,000 gallons of diesel. So we're definitely moving in that direction. The cabs fleet will be fully transitioned by 2026. But in addition to cabs, we've also transitioned some of our refuse trucks and our larger delivery trucks on campus to run on compressed natural gas. With the new vehicle market being as challenging as it is, we're still trying to work on increasing the number of electric vehicles and hybrid electric vehicles in our light and medium duty fleet.
Awesome. That sounds like important work, obviously, to support what President Johnson and other leaders are trying to get done here, which is to be a greener, more sustainable campus. Cabs on Demand began last year and has already become a popular service. I know I use it a few times a week to travel from the more remote areas of West Campus over to the Central Core. Explain to our listeners what Cabs on Demand is, why it launched, and the needs that it serves.
Yeah, thank you for being such a champion for this service, Dan.
Hey, man, it makes my life easier, so it's easy for me to support it.
Last year, Cabs on Demand provided 20,000 rides in our first year. It replaced fixed route, both somewhat during the day as well as our overnight service. We were running a large bus, lots of fuel burn on those buses, and the ridership was low. So during the daytime, we created this on-demand service to provide service to areas west of the river that have a low demand, low density, things like Center for Automotive Research or, labs on Kinnear Road, as well as things out here, your office, the culinary kitchen. And we're able to do that with a smaller vehicle that's more efficient and doesn't require as much out of direction travel for the user. And then at night, we were running a fixed route overnight, and ridership again was very low. The very first year, we saw a 33% increase in ridership between midnight and 5 a.m. And so our overnight hours again this year are 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. And during those hours, students, faculty, and staff can access any building or parking lot door to door during those hours.
I know Cabs on Demand is for more than just students, right? But there's a part of you as a service provider that has to adjust and adapt as technology and your users' needs adjust and adapt, right? So everybody wants things now. They want things on demand, which is what this program is called, right? So you have Lyft Ride Smart and you have Cabs on Demand. How much did that play into this service model for you, that this is what people are asking for? They want it at their fingertips?
Quite a bit. As I mentioned, out of direction travel is a dissatisfier for transit riders. And when we have routes that say make a great loop in a low demand or low density area, it's forcing people that are trying to get between, again, say your office, my office, and Central Campus to sort of go out of our way and spend extra time, where we can create a demand response system that provides more direct access and hopefully an improved experience for our customers.
One cool aspect of your department that some people may not think of is charter services. This provides bus service to large groups, including Ohio State athletics, but this service isn't limited to our athletes. What other groups can use charter, and how does the program work?
Last year, charter services provided more than 11,000 hours of transportation to the university community. Team Travel is, of course, the largest user of the service, but we also provide many shuttles for fans attending events at our athletic facilities. Student groups use this to go to places like Chicago, New York City. Of course, the president uses them every summer for her state tour. Class field trips use this service. That they may visit research at Waterman or up at Don Scott, regional historical sites. Some of our business classes take trips to various industries. And then, of course, the university hosts many events and conferences on our campus. And so we provide parking shuttles for those type of events, or transportation to hotels or dinners for events like that.
Tom, off the top, I mentioned fleet management, and within the last few years, your headquarters was renovated. That includes the maintenance shop where staff maintain, I think, more than 900 university vehicle fleet. What kind of work takes place there, and why is it important to have that service centralized in-house? I mean, like I said, a lot of vehicles, a lot of people on campus, and I know you take care of a lot of those.
I've worked in this building for 25 years, and this project was near and dear to my heart. We did an $8 million renovation on this almost 60,000 square foot facility, where we provide everything from preventative maintenance all the way up to heavy repair on our vehicles. We were able to consolidate 3 of our maintenance facilities into this facility. We greatly improved lighting, HVAC, working conditions for our technicians. Of the 930 vehicles in the university fleet, about 670 of those vehicles are actually housed here on the Columbus campus. And in addition to that, the university has over 600 non-licensed pieces of equipment. And this is everything from chainsaws and string trimmers, mowers of all sizes, all the way up to large tree chippers and power generation equipment. All of that stuff needs serviced, and we're able to take care of all of that right here in this facility. Another advantage to keeping our maintenance in-house is it prevents unnecessary downtime, which helps us keep our fleet size down. There's a lot of critical equipment in our fleet: police cars, refuse trucks, delivery trucks, of course, buses. And when those need maintenance, it's taking them off the street, and being able to provide that stuff right here in our facility lowers our total cost of ownership, provides more timely repairs for our fleet, and just helps us get our job done in a more efficient manner.
A peek behind the curtain. If you don't know, now you know. Tom, we always appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today. I always learn something new.
Thanks again for having me, Dan. It was a pleasure to be here.
The City of Ohio State podcast is brought to you by the Office of Administration and Planning. On our next episode, we'll check in with our facilities team to learn more about maintaining a campus the size of a small city. Until next time, be kind and go Bucks.